know. So hi, I hope everyone is having a great start to your Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I want to talk today with Thanksgiving coming up in the United States. I want to talk today about boundaries and how can we set healthy boundaries during the holidays that support us. So a lot of times too, I know that when we set boundaries, we might be thinking about other people. Oh, this person is always crossing my boundaries. This person's giving me a hard time here. This person, always brings up politics and I don't like talking about politics during the holidays. Whatever it might be, sometimes when we think about boundaries, we're thinking about the ways that people cross them. We're not thinking about the ways that we need to set our boundaries. And so first and foremost, when we're talking about boundaries, it's really important that we remember that boundaries are about us. Boundaries are about us, not about other people. And so boundaries are really closely connected into our core values and our principles. What are the values that I live my life by? What are the things that I'm saying are my priorities and are most important to me? And so it's really important when we think about what our boundaries are that we think about what are the core values that are guiding my life. Because oftentimes people come to me and they say, I don't know what my boundaries are. And so, first of all, before we talk about setting boundaries and enforcing boundaries, we need to know actually what our boundaries are. And so, how do we produce and figure out what our boundaries are? First, it comes back to our core values. Because if we're not guided, if we're not connected with what our values are in life, then how are we going to create a framework for how we want to show up in life and how people should interact with us? Um, and so, okay, values. So that's like step one. Figure out what your core values in life are. Okay. I recommend starting looking at literally, you can Google like list of values or list of principles, and then figure out what your top like 10 principles are. And then from there, divide it down into like 5 principles. And then these are your core values, your principles that are guiding me. If you want a worksheet or how to understand how to do this, send me a message. Send me a message that says values. If you're on YouTube, you can send me a email to support@rawmotivations.com and just write like, hey, I want to talk about the core values. And I'll send you a worksheet for how to figure out for yourself what your core values are and make sure that you are living in alignment with that. Okay, so number one for setting boundaries is core values. Number two, then we want to figure out what our North Star is. Okay, what are the priorities, the things that I have personally prioritized are most important to me in my life? And these things are always the most important when I'm making decisions. And so, example for me, and my priorities are my family, my own health, my family's health, God, and then like, am I living some kind of purposeful life? Do I feel like what I'm doing has purpose and it's the purpose that God has called me to? And so when I keep my priorities top of mind, it's really easy then for me if I'm making decisions about different things that people are doing, different things that people are inviting me to, or how people are interacting with me. It's then really easy for me to say, okay, cool, this is aligned with my priorities and my values, or this is not aligned with my priorities and my values. And if it's not aligned with my priorities and my values, then it's really easy from that point to set a boundary with someone. And you don't have to worry about the retaliation or anything because it's like, hey, this is my boundary because these are the things that are important to me in life, and this thing that you're bringing is not in alignment with that. And so I cannot have this in my life. So an example of this, kind of a silly example, but it's the first one that came to mind. I work with a lot of teenagers and young adults. I was meeting with a 13-year-old yesterday, and she was talking about this new girl that's trying to find their friend group or trying to join their friend group. And this new girl, a lot of people don't like her in the friend group because she gossips. And she's always starting conversations about gossip. And as adults, we have people like this in our lives too, right? This is something that I personally don't have tolerance for in my life because for me, an alignment is having meaningful and deep conversations that are actually talking about betterment and growth. And like, we're not talking about other people because that's such low vibrational, small-minded energy. I don't have space for that. And so this girl earlier, a few months ago when we were working together, we had written out for her, what are the things that you define making a good friend? What does that mean to you? Okay, what is a good friend? And one of the things that she had written a few months ago about what is a good friend is not gossiping, not talking about other people. And so when we referred back to this, I told her, great, this is a really easy way for you to set a boundary with this girl, because if she's always starting conversations with gossip and you have already defined months ago that that is not a good friend to you, then next time this comes up in conversation, you can say to her, hey, you know what? Really appreciate you being with us. We don't talk about other people. We don't gossip in this group. And so if that's something you want to do, you can go do that with other people, but we don't do that in this group. Okay? And so you see how that's an example of when we have our values and our priorities aligned, it's really easy to set a boundary from that place. Okay, I see someone else in the comments asking, can you give us a real life example of a value? So yes, another example would be integrity. Integrity is a value to me that's really, really important. And so how do we define integrity? You can define it a few different ways, but I define integrity as saying the things, doing the things that you say you're going to do, actually showing up in truth and doing the things that you say you're going to do. And so if I have a friend, for example, that is always saying, hey, let's do this, and then she's canceling last minute or changing plans, or hey, we're meeting together for dinner and we're all gonna bring something potluck style, okay? And so this friend says, hey, I'm gonna bring this salad or whatever, and say that there's a pattern of this person saying that they're gonna do something and then not doing it. Okay, well, that doesn't align with my value of integrity. If you say you're going to do something, you show up and you do it. And I understand, like, we're not perfect, right? We can't do that 100% of the time, but it's really important that we have consistency when we say we're going to do things, that we do it. And so if this friend is constantly not doing things, that saying that they're going to do things and then not following through on that, then you don't have integrity. Okay, so this is not only a good teaching moment for you to hold that boundary, but also a good teaching moment for this person to reflect and say, why do I say I'm going to do these things and then I don't follow through on them? Okay, hope that helps. Yeah, if you're interested in a worksheet on how to walk through your values, like I said, send a comment values, or send me an email to support@rawmotivations.com and just say values. Or if you're on YouTube and you want to like comment it somewhere on one of our videos, values, let me know and I'd be happy to send that. Hey, Skyla, I'm not reading the comments right now, but I did see that one. So hi, Skyla, hope you're having a great day. Okay, so coming to our topic of holidays. Thanksgiving in the United States coming up this week. It can be a stressful time for people. I want to do more videos like this before Christmas where we have a little bit more lead time, but talking about how to set boundaries with family, friends, whatever for this holiday. Okay. And if you guys have specific questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will look through and go through some specific questions in a little bit. Okay. So to get clear, right? So step 1, name your values. Step 2, figure out your priorities and what are the things that are aligned for the vision that you want for your life or not aligned. Okay. Then once we have that, I would think about, if you're feeling anxious about the holidays, okay, what's going to come? Oh gosh, I always have that uncle that always jumps right into politics and not everyone sees things the same way. And so it gets contentious and I just don't want that energy. Okay. So start thinking about for yourself, what are the potential pitfalls that you feel like usually happen during the holidays? Okay. So we can go through a few of them, but that's what you want to think about first, are where are the things where I think I might have to set a boundary. Because guess what? When we have difficult conversations, especially when it's something that's uncomfortable for us or we're not used to it, the best thing to do is to practice having those uncomfortable conversations. Okay. So what I like to do is, if I need to have difficult conversation with someone, I will literally write down the main talking points that I want to get across, potential rebuttals that they would have, and then I go through it with myself. This is something that I love doing with clients as well. If they need to have a difficult conversation with someone, great, let's bring it into session and we'll walk through it together, like in a safe environment. So for you, if you have someone safe and trusted that you can practice this with, definitely do that. If not, practice it out loud with yourself. That's a great way of going about it as well. Okay. And so Okay, so what are some potential things that would be problematic over Thanksgiving? I think politics is a huge one, especially in the United States. I think parenting, like maybe you have grandparents or in-laws that do things with your kids that you aren't okay with. Maybe they give your kids food that you aren't okay with. Maybe they want to kiss your new baby and that's not okay with you. Maybe they even want to hug your older kid, and you are practicing body safety in your household with your kids and them being able to consent to physical touch with anyone, even if it's a family member. I know that that's a big thing. And so that's really important to think about too. Like, what are the boundaries for you and your kids if you're a parent? Okay, so those are a few things to go over. So think about what are the potential boundaries that you think you might have to set, and practice them. Practice them ahead of time, what you're gonna say. Okay, and even if there's something that you don't foresee an issue coming up, maybe it's something new in your life that you are trying out that you haven't had to set the boundary yet, but maybe you're thinking you might have to set a boundary here. So for example, I stopped drinking alcohol 4 years ago. I come from an Irish family. I've been over to Ireland many times, and drinking is a big part of the culture there. And so the first few times that I went over there after I stopped drinking, people didn't get it the same way, and I had family members that were like, oh, let me just buy you one drink, oh, let me just do this. And sometimes if we're not a confident person, it can be really easy to fall into that situation and just be like, okay, yeah, like I don't want to make this person feel bad, I don't want to hurt their feelings. No, that's a horrible way of going through life. We should not change the way that we are showing up in life for someone else's feelings. Okay, so if setting a boundary is important to you, your reason for not setting the boundary should not be hurting someone else's feelings. That was a double negative. Hopefully that makes sense. You and what you want in your life is always priority. Always number one, always most important. And if someone's feelings might get hurt by that, that's not your responsibility. Everyone is responsible for themselves, and boundaries are a huge way of you are responsible for yourself and yourself only. And if someone has a response to that or a reaction to that they don't like, they are in charge of their own emotional landscape. That is outside of your control. So, okay, coming back to our boundaries. Okay, so how do we set our boundaries? We practice them so that because for a lot of us, having honest conversations and being direct and frank with someone can be really uncomfortable. And so we practice. But oftentimes too, the anxiety of having a difficult conversation is always way worse than the actual conversation once we have it. Okay, so just keep that in mind too, that often the anxiety and the anticipation leading up to an uncomfortable conversation is usually worse than the conversation itself. Okay, if someone is not respecting your boundary, okay, so there's like several parts to a boundary. First part is you have to know what your boundaries are, okay? Second part is actually setting the boundary with someone. So now that you know what your boundaries are, it's really easy to know if a boundary is crossed, or to know when you need to set a boundary and have a conversation with someone. And then the third part is if that boundary gets crossed, you have to enforce that boundary. So for an example, with the babies, okay? You're bringing your 3-month-old baby to Thanksgiving. This is your first time bringing them to a big family event. Maybe there's a lot of anxiety there for you. What I would recommend in a situation like this, if it's a situation like that where you're anticipating like a boundary will need to be set the boundary ahead of time. Send a text message in the family group chat. Say, hey everyone, so excited, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Jessica, my baby, is coming. Here are the things that I am asking. If you are holding my baby, please wash your hands first. We are not doing any kisses from anyone other than the parents of the baby. If you ask to hold the baby, I reserve the right to say no, like if she needs milk or if she's upset or whatever. And then like if you're holding my baby and I want my baby back, like, I'm going to ask my baby back and I'm going to get my baby back. Okay. And so then, like, setting the boundaries ahead of time can be really, really helpful in a situation like that, because then you've already communicated them. And so then it's really easy if someone starts to cross that boundary for you to refer back to it. Okay. So then enforcement. This is like the biggest, most important part of our boundaries, because if we do not enforce our boundaries and actually hold them, guess what? That shows people that we're a doormat, that they can walk all over us, and that, like, we don't have respect for ourselves to really hold our boundaries. Okay, so enforcement, this is something that a lot of people struggle with. It is so important. It's honestly almost better to not set the boundaries if we are not going to enforce them. Okay? So enforcement, what does that look like? This is like a structure that you can choose for setting boundaries. If you blank, I will blank. If you continue blank, then I will blank. Okay? So here's an example. If you kiss my baby, sorry, this is the example that's coming top to mind. So if you kiss my baby, I will take my baby back. If you continue to ask to hold my baby after that, we are going to leave and go home. Okay? So if you blank, I will blank. If you continue blank, then I will blank. Okay? That's a really easy structure, just straight to the point, truthful, transparent, of how to set a boundary and have that conversation with someone. Okay, so remember, enforcement, actually enforcing our boundaries, super important. Okay? Now, okay, another important thing to speak to around, another important thing to speak to about boundaries is remembering boundaries are not about the other person, they're about us. They're not about putting limits on other people's behavior. They are about how we are going to show up in a situation and what we will or will not tolerate. Okay? So like in all of my examples, I've not talked about, if you do this, then you can't do this. No. It's letting people, everyone has free will, right? People can do whatever they want. But then you come back to yourself and you say, is this something that's in alignment with me? Is this something that I'm going to tolerate or not tolerate? Okay. All right, let me come back. There's been a lot more comments. So if you guys have questions specifically about holding boundaries, then can you just rewrite them? Sorry, I'm trying to scroll back up, but there's been a lot of stuff. Thank you for the hearts. Hi, Brooklyn. Okay. You don't participate in politics anymore, because I did have an uncle who mentioned political figures and it was not good for the family gathering. Oh, hey, it's Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you here. Yeah, I'm so glad that you as a family have decided to set that boundary. I think it's really good, really important. And yeah, I think more families should do that. I wish my family did that. Okay. Love you from India. Thanks for the love from India. Skylar. Okay, Skyla. All right. Hello to the makeup artist in the chat. Recommend swapping your eyeliner with a brown eyeshadow. Thank you so much. I am not really great at doing makeup, so I appreciate you asking or saying that. Okay. Okay, let me scroll back down to the bottom. I'm trying to move through these pretty quick. Yes, nobody should be touching or kissing little babies because their immune system isn't strong enough to battle such. Yeah, this is a boundary that I've had to set in my own life that was challenging, but it's okay. You know, it's all bad when you come to YouTube for a therapist. Hi, Jeremiah. Do a flip. I would do a flip if I could, but I can't. Okay. I understand. That's healthy and I'd rather have teeth. Okay. Am I under MK Ultra? I'm not under MK Ultra. That would be a fun question to ask around the Thanksgiving table. Okay. No, it's not AI. I want my baby back. Chili's ribs. Okay. Okay. All right. How do you deal with a parent who has BPD when you have to see them in person? Okay, this is a really great question that I want to speak to. So how do you, I don't want to lose the other questions too. Okay, so yeah, such a good question. I think number one in dealing with anyone with any kind of disorder is making sure that you're safe, making sure that you are physically safe. And if this person is a physical threat to you or you're scared for your safety, I would not see this person personally. That's your own, is obviously it's just my opinion. It's not medical advice, but that's my first question is this person actually physically safe or is there a threat? Dealing with a parent, okay, here's the thing too, when you're dealing with someone that has some kind of severe mental health thing or disorder going on, we have to also remember what we're going to get out of them versus what we're not. So unfortunately, when we're talking about parents in these situations, you are not going to have a normal parent-child relationship with them where they can offer you advice, give you wisdom, talk about how to support you, and you can go to them for different things and they're really there to cheerlead you. Okay, so that's number one, is how do we have realistic expectations with someone close to us in our life that has severe mental illness. Okay, so maybe you need to kind of reevaluate your expectations, and maybe you're expecting this person to like be a parent, which is understandable, but they don't have the capacity to do that. So then how can you just have the expectation of, okay, this is just someone in my life that I want to continue to have a relationship with? And I would also, that would be my question for you is, do you actually, is it in your best interest to have a relationship still with this parent? Or do you have a relationship with them still because you don't want to hurt their feelings, they feel bad, these different things? And so that's number one, getting clear on why you have this relationship with your parents still, and does it actually serve you? And I know that I've worked with clients that have excommunicated parents and these different things. So then I know that there's this external pressure too, where people are like, oh, it's your mom, you're going to regret one day not having a relationship with her, and different things like this. Don't listen to other people's opinions on this, because other people can be well-intentioned, but they don't have the full story. And so that's my first question for you. Is having a relationship with this person, does it actually serve you? Question two, are you physically safe with them? Question point three, reevaluate your expectations. Can you not expect them to be a parent, because you're never going to get that from them? So if you set them up to be that, you're always going to be disappointed with what you actually get in return. And then point four, yeah, I would just, you can follow the same boundary structure of what are the things that you are willing to tolerate versus not from someone, and then having a clear-cut system that you follow if that boundary is crossed or you're not respected in that way. That works for parents, that works for spouses, relationships, coworkers, any situation. Coming back to your core values, your priorities in life, and then setting your boundaries from there, and knowing what your boundaries are based on the things that you have already said are most important to you. So hopefully that helps. I'm happy to answer more questions about that. Okay, this is what 40 looks like. When you enforce boundaries, you either get respect or manipulation by emotional displays and immature. Yes. Okay, the things I want to say to that too is, if someone, again, every person is responsible for their own emotional landscape. So if you set a boundary, and here's the thing, like, we always have to think about what are our intentions for our actions. And so if your intention is rooted in goodness, if your intention is rooted in truth, and your intention is not to hurt that person, then you are not responsible for how they react to that. And so if someone gets upset, if they have an emotional outbreak, if they want to try and manipulate you, that is not your responsibility. And often probably that's coming from a place of immaturity. This person is trying to manipulate you, trying to reel you back in, trying to make you not enforce your boundary. And then you're just like, you know what? Like, this is not my responsibility to deal with. Easier said than done, I understand. Reach out to me, send me an email, support@rawmotivations.com if you need help with that or you want to talk about that more. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I guess you can't like this, but don't forget to subscribe. I try and go live every day around this time, Monday through Friday, and there's going to be a lot more content about this and boundaries coming out soon. So if this is helpful for you, like, subscribe, please come back. So anyway, so if someone, is trying to manipulate with you, you get to choose whether you are going to allow them to manipulate you or not. That is your choice. We all have choices in this life. And someone else's emotional escapades are not your responsibility. Okay? I feel like a lot of people needed to hear that. Everyone is a sovereign being responsible for themselves. And so if you get caught up trying to manage other people's emotions, like, send me a message, let's talk about it. Because when you can stop doing that, I promise it's going to change your life. My name is not Stacy. Hi, my name is Julianne. I feel like there's a joke in there that I'm not getting. Okay. There are some rude comments in here, so... Okay, physically safe, but emotionally unstable. Okay, that's going back to the question, how do you help with a parent that has NPD? So, yes, okay. Really important for you to set those boundaries, for you to know, first of all, what your boundaries are, and then be able to set them. And here's the thing, guys, when we have our values and our priorities up front and we have that established, then we can so easily share our boundaries from a grounded place and not get emotionally worked up in the moment because we've already established, hey, this is a boundary for me. Hey, this thing that you're doing, getting caught in this cat and mouse game with you, it's not aligned for my values that are important to me in life and where I'm going in my life and my long-term vision. So I can't play this game with you. So really, really, I encourage everyone before Thanksgiving, before we all sit around that table and eat that turkey, get clear on these things for yourself. It will help, I promise. Okay, Jim Dice, hi. Okay, Honeydew, I don't want a relationship with her, but I have a relationship with my younger siblings who are close to her. So again, like, okay, this is a really good thing to chat about because sometimes maybe we have relationships with certain family members in our lives, but not other family members. And so, like, you can still have a relationship with your younger siblings and you don't need to have a relationship with her. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you can think about, again, is this prioritizing you? And so you can have a conversation with your mom. You can have a conversation with your younger siblings. Like, hey, I love you guys. I want to be so close to you. I'm not going to have a relationship with mom anymore because X, Y, Z. So I ask that when we are hanging out, you do not share that with her. I don't want our conversations to be taken up by talking about her because she's taken up enough energy in my life and enough bandwidth that I'm just done. And so, and again, I know that it's hard to have these conversations, but I promise if you do it, it will change things for you. I really promise. Okay. I've got a troll in the chat, so just reading through these. Honeydew, yeah, you are so welcome. If you have any more questions, seriously, feel free to reach out. Support@rawmotivations.com, here to help you how I can. Okay, what the heck we got going on here? Welcome to the chat. We are talking about boundaries. Okay. I don't have a ceiling fan in this room, actually. Okay, but thanks for asking that 10 times. Okay, I'm good. I need it. All right. This is a really interesting question. I'm not going to talk about it today, but if you had a blank check to start any business you wanted, what would it be? Maybe I'll do a video on that one day. I love that question, but that's going to take me on a little tangent. Oh, that is a real animal behind me. No. Okay, guys. So got this from Home Depot over the holiday. I want to make sure everyone can see it, or over the weekend. It's a little succulent garden with a little reindeer that is super cute. I had to hide it in here away from my baby, who's not allowed in my office because there's too many cords, but otherwise he's gonna try and play with it. I also have a little bit, if you can see here, well, now my cheeks are just red, but I have a little bit of like a bruise on my cheek. I got woken up Saturday morning by a book chucked at my face from my baby, not my partner. So yeah, like left a legitimate mark on my face. Okay, John, she's trying to help you guys and you're in here acting childish, man. I appreciate that, John. It's okay. It's the internet. There's always going to be trolls, but that's all good. Okay, show us, turn around. Okay. I'm trying to get back to some actual comments. Okay, so someone on Instagram said, hello, my name is Anne. Hi, Anne. Good to see you here and have you here. So grateful to have you. And she said, today I set some boundaries and I wish I could do it earlier. And first of all, I'm so grateful to hear that you have set some boundaries. That is amazing. That's so important. And also, hindsight's 2020, right? But that speaks to what I was saying earlier, that usually once we set the boundary or we have that difficult conversation, we realize, oh my gosh, I wish I had done this sooner, because actually having the conversation itself was not as hard or didn't feel as challenging as the anticipation leading up to it. And so yay, and super excited for you. And just have some grace with yourself. We don't know what we don't know. And so sometimes we don't have the right tools, we don't have the right resources, we don't have the confidence, whatever it is. Now, moving forward, that, okay, I'm just going to set boundaries because they respect me, they're important for me. And, like this is what I have to do for myself. Okay, there was something else here. Ashley, all right, YouTube, I'm plugging you guys in, so we're gonna move you over here. Okay. Ashley said, yeah, I'm exhausted from trying to explain why I got away from the other person. I refuse to tolerate being abused by other people. Yes, Ashley, I'm so glad that now you are understanding your worth and coming from that place of worth. And yeah, now you realize you're not going to tolerate being abused by other people or having those things happen. So I think that's huge. 1 second, guys, I got to plug this in. I think that is huge that you know that and you understand that now. And now also, hopefully, you can just set boundaries earlier, and that you know how to do it, you know how comfortable you feel, and you can do that earlier on. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end on TikTok. I'm going to end on Instagram. Sorry, I was so blurry on Instagram. I'm going to figure that out, but I'm going to keep going on YouTube. So if you guys have questions and you want to pop over to YouTube, channel is Raw Motivations, and I will see you there. So, all right. And this here. Okay, keep going here. All right, guys, what other questions do you have? Okay. Love to answer questions. Okay. To the person that said, what are we discussing? We are discussing boundaries and the holidays. Okay, thank you for your service. I think you're saying that to the ceiling fan. Guys, I will show you my ceiling. See? There's no ceiling fan there, so you can stop asking that. Okay. I'm nearsighted, so it's hard for me to have a long-term vision. That's actually really funny. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Hello. I'm going through the questions. How are you doing today? Rudy Rodriguez. What is up, Rudy? How are you doing today? I hope that it is a blessed Monday and you're doing great. Are you ready for Thanksgiving? So we are what is everyone doing this year for Thanksgiving? We're having a super chill Thanksgiving. We're just gonna have like my little family, my 3-person family, for the start of the day. And then, yeah, we're gonna go over to my partner's brother's house later in the day and hang out with everyone there. Does gym, okay, not on topic, but this is a really good question and I want to answer it. Does gym improve mental health? Yes. The gym, working out, any kind of movement, even if it's just like walking, yoga, stretching, whatever. It is so good for not only our physical health, but our mental health too. And so why is that? Okay, because in our brain, we get good hormones that help us feel good, like oxytocin and dopamine. These are like the happy chemicals. Those are released when we have physical exercise. Okay, so that's like on a neurological level. One, why working out is good. Two, it helps us have discipline and helps us do challenging things and also have integrity and trust with ourselves that we are going to do, or we do the things that we say we're going to do. So if you have a workout regimen that you set for yourself and then you follow it, you're building trust in yourself that one, you're prioritizing yourself, and two, that you actually do the things that you say you're going to do, which is really, really important. Versus if you have a workout regimen and then you don't follow it, subconsciously you're telling yourself that you can't trust that you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do. You can't trust yourself to make the right decisions that prioritize yourself. And so it's not like, if you're not working out right now, if you're not getting into the gym, don't start with, okay, I'm going to follow this super strict training protocol and I'm going to work out 6 times a day for an hour and a half. No, start gentle. Start, okay, my goal, if this is like you have zero physical activity right now, really, my goal is I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week. Start there. You will notice improvements, and you are also showing that you can trust yourself, trust that you are actually going to do the things that you say you're going to do. Okay, so that was a little tangent, but really important to talk about. So okay, hello, I love your channel and how you're trying to help others with their trauma. Hi, Steven. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. I'm not going to kiss the camera. Okay, Mikkel, I tried boundaries with my narcissistic ex, comma. I feel like there's more there. I would love to hear more. So I will look for the comments if there is more. So, okay. I'm trying to start my own channel where I help others, so I appreciate your inspiration. Oh, Stephen, thanks so much for that. And yeah, just go do it. I think everyone has such a unique perspective to offer. And even if something doesn't work out, there is so much that you learn in the process. And again, like, you're showing yourself that you can do difficult things. I did a video a couple days ago about talking about fear, and like, if your dreams or your goals don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Because it's really important that we get outside of our comfort zone, that we do things that scare us, because that's how we grow. So if you aren't happy with your life in any regard, sorry to tell you, but you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone and do something different to grow and actually change that. Is that scary? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. Because even if you don't find the success that you were hoping for, you learn so much along the way. And then it's going to help you in the future when there's new things that you want to do. Okay. Did you buy the channel? So I didn't buy the channel. Ben handed me the channel. He moved on and did different things. Yes, I am new here. There is a video, I believe that's like pinned or posted to the top of the channel. That's an interview with Ben and I talking about why he's leaving, where he's going, and kind of what I'm starting to do. So hi, I love your name too, Mama Llama. Good to see you here. Thanks for being here. And yeah, just feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Cute for y'all white picket fence folks. Okay. Watching from Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, I love Texas. I have some family there, but I haven't been in a while. Hi, I'm new here. Hi, Mr. America Finance. Welcome. Good to have you here. Appreciate you being in the chat. Hello, my beautiful Julianne. How are you? Hi, Douglas. Greetings from Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. I actually haven't been. That sounded deceptive what I was saying, but I've seen lots of pictures. I have lots of friends that have gone there. It's one of my on my list of places to go. So that is awesome. Important. Okay, this guy, I want to see if I can. There we go. All right. Okay, you can tell she won't answer my question because she knows what I'm saying is true. I haven't seen your question, so if you want to post it again, I'm always happy to answer any questions. Unless it's something. Oh, okay, that was to Douglas. Okay, do you feel QVC enables shut-ins to overspend? Oh, this guy. I removed that guy. But with that, I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that program people to like program people's behavior, right? If we look at social media, the way that the algorithms are constructed, there's so much in like sales and marketing and everything in the world that is programming people. So having a particular outcome of how people will show up. And so I think there's a lot of things programming people all the time. Okay. Okay, Mr. Rogers Neighborhood, here's your question. Isn't racism considered as well as narcissism? Can you elaborate a little bit? I actually don't understand the questions. Okay. Beautiful woman, thank you. Good afternoon. As shadows flee from our light, as it returns to whence it came, how beautiful is your day getting already? My day is really beautiful, guys. It was so, if anyone follows me on Instagram, it's at Raw Motivations. If you saw yesterday, like we had just crazy cloud coverage. I live in the mountains up in Utah, and as there was literally just like clouds everywhere yesterday, we couldn't see our backyard, but today the sun is shining. I was playing outside with my son earlier before I hopped into work and got on here. So yeah, I am warm though. Remove your jacket. I'm not wearing a jacket actually, it's just a shirt, but I am warm. This office gets really hot, so I'm actually gonna open the window. Okay, Gary. Hi, Gary. Good to see you. Okay, so if you are new here, Gary, I actually did not start this channel. This channel was started by a man named Ben Taylor, and so he chose the name Raw Motivations. So Raw Motivations, what it means. So Ben is a self-aware narcissist that when he started this channel, he never had the intentions of growing it the way that it is. He really just started on TikTok sharing about what he was going through, sharing about his own transformation, how he was trying to heal and grow. And so it was just him being real and raw about everything that he was sharing. So that was his motivation for sharing, was being like raw emotionally. And so that's where the name came from. Okay, Luke. Hi, ma'am. How are you today? I'm doing great today. I'm so happy to be here. I had a really nice, rejuvenating weekend, and yeah, just feeling blessed. So may God bless you too, Luke. Okay, I have a question. Oh, okay. I don't know if that's a real question, Eric, but happy to answer your question if you have a legitimate question. Am I single? No, I'm not single. Okay, is racism considered narcissism as well? Okay, that's the question that you're saying. I don't really understand your question and what you're trying to say. So is racism considered narcissism as well? I mean, I would say they're like different concepts. I think I would have to enter into a conversation with you and like try and see really what you are saying. Because I actually don't really understand that question. So, I mean, I think it depends on, I don't know, semantics, how people want to classify things. Nice makeup, thank you. Okay. Okay, can I do a backflip? No. All right, I'm gonna scroll down to, I can tell you are not going to age well. That is so rude, your face structure. That is so rude, but I'm also curious why you think that. Okay, so we pass out collars to everyone, whereas for our family get-togethers, if any. I love this. Okay, so this comment says, we pass out collars that everyone wears for our family get-togethers. If any family members step on someone's boundary, we just activate. Oh my gosh, wait, I thought you meant... This is totally a joke. This is not what I thought this person was saying. They say if we just activate the electric collar, stops them in their track. I thought what you were saying is that you had like collars, like paper collars or something that everyone would wear. And then if someone steps on a boundary, like you take that collar off so then everyone can see like, oh, this person like stepped on my boundary. That is not what I thought you actually said. So, okay. Okay. All right,
Jackie, your comments are so cute. Don't do backflips without a trained gymnastics coach watching you, and don't recommend anyone doing it by yourself or alone. It's dangerous and can lead to serious injury. Yes, Jackie, I agree. Thank you. And yeah, just always good to see you here. Okay, happy birthday, Lily. I hope that you have a great day. It's my cousin's birthday on Wednesday. She's turning 21. Ooh. Okay. I should say that, but hey, you know, okay, All right, I am going to scroll down to the bottom and see if there is more questions. Okay, shout out please. Hi, Sydney. All right, does anyone have questions about boundaries? I'm gonna log off in a few minutes, but okay, coming back to Mr. Rogers. Yeah, I'm gonna log off in a few minutes, but happy to answer any more questions that we have. And okay, Mr. Rogers, thank you for answering the question, but I'm saying towards they both believe they are superior and they both gaslight and they both never accept responsibilities of their actions. Okay, yeah, I think it would depend again on how someone is defining like narcissism or racism. I definitely think that they are both ways that someone is choosing to show up in society that is not in alignment with like their highest, most truthful, good expression. Does that make sense? Because I think in life, it's important that we are always, again, we are only responsible for ourselves, right? And when we are responsible for ourselves, can we think about, are my intentions good? Are my intentions pure? Are my intentions to be truthful and live the best version of my life that I can? Or are my intentions to degrade, be mean, or rude to other people? And so I think in that way, yeah, like someone who is a racist or someone that is a narcissist, their intentions are not coming from a good and pure place. Hope that helps answer. It's definitely an interesting thought, but I think there's a lot of different people or things in society that people are just not happy or good people, and often that gets projected out onto other people, but it's someone not being happy within themselves. And so then because of insecurity or low self-esteem or whatever these different things are, then that gets projected onto other people in these different ways. So like, yes, like racism would be one way that gets projected out. Narcissism would be another way that gets projected out. There's many different ways. And so, yeah, hopefully that helps. Happy Christmas, Allie Roberts. Happy Christmas for you. How long have you been streaming? I've been on for like 45 minutes now. So I'm going to get off and record some other stuff. So one thing I'll say to you guys is I am going to be launching a free boundaries challenge soon. And so if this conversation has been helpful to you today, if you want more, if you want to work through the different frameworks that we've talked about and you want like personalized support with this, I will be posting a link soon, so make sure that you subscribe, and I will be posting a link soon to sign up for my Boundaries Challenge. It's completely free. It's going to be 5 days. We're going to have 5 days of live coaching, so I'm going to actually be coaching for an hour, get into a lot of good materials and get into people's specific questions, like in depth. You'll be able to ask me live questions, and you're going to have like a full 28-page workbook that you can work through to actually set your boundaries, walk through the frameworks that we've talked about, and more. So then again, you have a really clear place that like you know what your boundaries are. They are rooted in your truth and your core values and expression. And then you can walk through life always tolerating respect from people and knowing how to set a boundary if people are not respecting you in those ways. So make sure to subscribe so that you see that come up when it's time. If you have more questions about that or you want more information right now, feel free to just send me an email to support@rawmotivations.com. Okay. As a middle schooler, Sydney, are you in middle school? Okay, I will answer this question because it's important. So, as a middle schooler, it's been hard and advice about boundaries as a girl. Okay, yes, Sydney, I work with a lot of teenagers and young adults. So, if you want to send me an email to support@rawmotivations.com, I have a lot of resources that I could send you and share. One of the biggest things I work on with people, but especially young girls, is how to set your identity in yourself. So, how to have your identity rooted in actually you, not other people's opinions, not other people say what you should do, not trends, not things you see culturally, but who are actually you at your core. So then once you have a strong identity, which let's be honest, most people in society do not have a strong identity. They don't actually know who they are, what their purpose is, and why they do the things they do, right? To go back to what we were talking about earlier, programming. There's so many things in society all the time that are trying to program us a certain way. Example, you watch the mainstream media, you watch MSNBC, they're going to talk about how horrible Trump is, how horrible the Republicans are. If you watch Fox News, they're going to talk about how horrible the Democrats are and how they're ruining our country. Like, that is programming you to think a certain way and to have your identity tied up in how other people around you are thinking. So that's like step one, is you need to break out of those group ways of thinking and think like, what do I actually think about this thing? What do I actually think? Not what someone else tells me to think. What do I actually think? Who am I actually at my core? Okay, so Sydney, like if you were here at the beginning, maybe you weren't, send me an email. If not, support@rawmotivations.com. I'm going to send you some different worksheets and things for your core values, figuring out what your core values are and your priorities in life. Because once we have those things set up, it's really easy to set our boundaries from that place. Okay, but another thing about middle schoolers and like high schoolers, the things that are so important to you right now will not matter 5 years from now. Most things. And so, can you also help yourself understand that emotions are temporary? All of this is temporary. This hurt, this pain, these different things, it's temporary. And so, can you just come back to your roots of, am I a good person? Am I a good friend? Do I try hard in school? Whatever these things are, can you just come back to like, what are your intentions in showing up with life? And then just let go of other people's opinions about it. Because people are always going to have an opinion on your life, always, through your entire life. But I always ask myself, okay, does this person's opinion of me get to live in my head? Does this person actually know me? Do they have my best intentions in mind? Do they respect me? If the answer to any of that is no, then that person's opinion does not matter. And just forget about it. Why would you let it live in your head if they don't have your best interests in mind, you don't respect them, and like they don't deserve to be in your head. Okay? So as a middle schooler, remembering that emotions are temporary and it's hard to set boundaries. But yeah, Sydney, feel free to reach out to me if you have more questions about that. Do you believe in the sixth sense? Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to get more into that right now, but yes, for sure. Okay. My mom's favorite saying was, stay on your farm plot if you overstepped your boundaries. Yep. Yeah, I love that. Stay on your farm part. Stay in your lane. Like tunnel vision, worry about your life. People that worry so much about other people's lives, I'm like, how do you even have time and space for that? Because I have so much in my own life, in my own family that I have to worry about, that I don't have time to worry about what someone else is doing and what's going on in their life. Like, I have my own things to worry about. I have enough of my own things. Okay. Luke, hi, you look great. Just know Jesus in your life. Thank you, Luke. Okay. All right. Do you use a filter to make your eyes larger? No, I don't. I don't know if that's a thing. If I go like this, they're larger. Just kidding. No, I don't. This is my natural face. I don't even know if you can do filters on, you probably can, I guess, on videos. Guys, I'm so not like social media-ish inept, which is kind of funny, but I don't know anything about that, like filters and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna see if there's like one more question. Okay, I took a DNA test and God is my father. All right, please shout out me. Hi, Smart Cookie 123. Okay, I'm not single. Hippy dippy stream, holla. Just kidding. Okay, good stream. Thank you. If you liked this, please remember to subscribe. Okay, Relic, what did the dog say? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, I was just singing Who Let the Dogs Out. Okay. All right, guys. What's up with your eyebrows? I don't know what is up with my eyebrows. Okay. All right, just trying to see if there's any more questions, but I think all right, guys, who do you think Mystery Babylon is in Revelation? That's a big question I'm not gonna get into, but okay, guys. Eyes are creepy. Oh, I forgot that I did that. Yo, damn, big head. That's funny. I don't think I've ever gotten this comment that I have a big head, but that's funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Our time flies when you're having fun, but yeah, I will be live again around the same time tomorrow. So that's 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm trying to go live like every day with a different topic, Monday through Friday. So if you guys have topic suggestions, and yeah, anything that you want to talk about, just let me know what you guys would like to talk about. Okay. I'm going. Definitely takes a lot more. Are you the one that said my head was big? There is, yeah, there's definitely a lot more it takes than that to make me cry. So, okay, we are gonna block this person from the future. All right. Actually, okay. This is good, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'm gonna answer this last question and then I'm gonna go. How do you raise a child with a person who's narcissistic and make sure your child does not get hurt? Okay, really, really good question. There is a lot of different parts to this, and the first thing I'll say is you have to come back to and remember that there's what is inside of your control and what is outside of your control. And so what is inside of your control is how you nurture and pour into and love your child when they're in your care. The words that you speak into them, how you spend your time when you're with them, the people that you introduce them to when they're with you, like these things are all within your control. Your co-parent, who's a narcissist in this situation, you cannot control the things that they do, the things that they say, or what happens when they're with your child. And so obviously if there is safety concerns, I would take that up legally, see if you could change custody, whatever. But other than that, like if you can legally change something, you have to let go of stressing about or controlling what this person does when they're with your child, because it's outside of your control anyways. They have the control in that situation. And so stressing about it is only going to cause more harm to you and potentially your child. So what you can do is just nurture the crap out of your child. Love your child so hard. Speak affirmations into your child, even if you can like FaceTime them when they're with that other parent and say like, I love you so much. You are so brave and courageous and intelligent and kind and wise. Like speak affirmations. Affirmations work and they matter. So speak affirmations into your child, because that is going to be the voice that your child hears in their head when they're older. And so make sure that that encouraging voice is the loudest voice that your child hears. And then just try and let go of the rest, because you can't control it anyways. So I hope that helps. Okay, I will answer this question as well. What are your credentials for this advice? Yeah, such a good question. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I also have a coach training certification. I went through like a 6-month intensive program. I've done other shorter programs, and I also have been in therapy coaching myself like as a client for over a decade. Been through multiple treatment centers, and so I honestly, the thing that I pull from most in the things that I offer and in my experience is what I have actually experienced in my life. And I share that with people. Obviously, like, people have to have discernment. You should never make major life decisions based on something that someone said on the internet. You are responsible for your own life, and you also have to have discernment of if you're going to listen to someone or not, and if you think it's good advice or not, because there's so much crap on the internet nowadays, that it's like you have to have discernment. Totally. You have nice big protruding eyes. Thank you. My eyes are not fake, they're real. So can you shout out me, Skylar? All right, hi Skylar, good to have you here. And yeah, the justice system is a complete failure. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Rogers neighborhood. That's really hard, but hopefully what I said helped. And yeah, just make sure that like you just love and nurture them. And the other thing with kids too is like the truth always comes out in the end, and they know who the good parent and the harmful parent is too. So just always remember that. Okay. The mother hates me like hell. Yeah. Okay. Why are you still talking? Why are you still here then? All right, guys. I hope that you all have a blessed day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.